What is our world without a bit of paranormal activity? Boring, I tell you. You could be a neighbor just minding your business, and the next thing you notice, something really strange going on in your apartment next door.
Going for a walk and I look up and I see my neighbors.
It starts with movement and knocking stuff out. Next thing, it moves on to talking. The worst part is that it sounds like a baby talking to its mother.
Guys, I was just prepping the house for like getting our laundry together and stuff like that for when we move. Something knocked over all that stuff, shut the door and turned off the... And it sounds like a baby. It's trying to get me to go over there. I'm here completely by myself. Like, it knocked over all that shit over there, turned off the lights, and slammed the door. Legit knocked. I can't even go upstairs. I have to go through this to go upstairs. Like, I can't fit through that or this. It sounds like it's getting closer too.
If you come across this type of box under your house or just hanging around in the woods, you should know that you cannot handle it like a regular box. It contains evil, literally.
The Dybbuk box guarded by my ancestors, and those who may be after it. The term Dybbuk box originates from a specific item first reported in the late 90s. A cursed box associated with the Jewish demon the Dybbuk. Pause to read. It has become a term used for any container of dark spirits or cursed items. I found such a container, holding dark items, inside an heirloom trunk under my inherited house. My ancestors were hunters of supernatural horrors. They left detailed instructions to keep the dark magic trapped within. I contacted a hoodoo priest to assist me in the ritual and provide added protection. We opened the box and, as instructed, removed each of the items with bare hands and disposed of the contaminated soil inside. The items were incredibly varied, but each held an eerie occult appearance and a sense of dread. The box looked as if burned from the inside, from the dark energy pressing against the sigils. We sealed it back with soil from the family's fairy tree, believing this chapter to be over with. But soon after, the strangest happenings yet began, surrounding the cursed box, seeming at first as to be manipulated from something within trying to escape. But later events make me believe it's something from outside. A deep dive into my ancestors' writings point toward an ancient vampire enemy, tied to the greatest evil they ever faced.
You want to argue that you do not believe in psychics, right? Watch this next clip and you might just see yourself as a believer.
Nostradamus is crazy. He has made some crazy predictions like 9/11. His prediction says, in the year of the new century and 9 months, which is 2001, right? And 9 months, September.
Yeah.
September 11th. From the sky will come a great king of terror. This is a plane. He doesn't, you got to think he's from the 1600s, right? If he's visioning this in his head, he's not going to know what a plane is.
What is that?
Right.
You know?
The sky will burn at 45 degrees. If you look up right now, the longitude and latitude of New York City, it is 40.5 degrees north. In the city of York, there will be a great collapse. 2 twin brothers torn apart by chaos. I don't believe in psychics for the most part, right? But then I'm like, how do I explain that?
What have you heard of the Nephilim giants of the old? Have you ever gotten a visual representation of who they are? Check it out now.
Stop scrolling, you all need to see this. I think I might have found an actual real depiction of what the Nephilim giants that used to roam the earth looked like. Check this out. When you look at the image of this creature, it has to make you wonder, where would you even get the idea to make something that looks this terrifying, this massive, and this disgusting? Like, this is not something that just comes out of your imagination to create. This is the things that they were seeing in the lands at those times, allegedly. That explains who a lot of these giant weapons were used by, the Nephilim giants. Was there really an ancient race of giants that roamed the earth and ate people? Is this depiction of the Nephilim giant actually just a statue, or is it a real stuffed Nephilim? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Do you know that the birthday ceremony is a ritual? I mean, an actual real-life experience with consequences.
There is a dark secret to why we celebrate our birthdays. According to stories, the creation of birthdays is actually a ritual against us. If you noticed, the happy birthday song is like a chant. We make a wish, then blow a candle, portraying a ritualistic experience. It is said that this ritual is sealing our fate to grow older. Some people believe that it is why those who don't celebrate their birthday look younger than they tend to be. Although this is just a theory that is circulating the internet recently, it is scary to think that.
Pay attention. Wait for the light to come on and you just might find yourself staring at a baby trapped inside one of those wall boxes.
Como 5 minutos comenzó a asomarse y salgo y no hay nada. Y miren, ahí está otra vez. ¿Qué mierda? Dios mío.
Something tells me this video is edited. There is no way this could have actually happened, right?
Hi, big sis. Are you afraid of me?
According to this video, there was a civilization before the Egyptians. Did you know this? Find out now.
The first ancient civilization that we know of were called the ancient Sumerians. The Sumerians existed over 6,000 years ago, 1,000 years before the Egyptians. They believed in gods called the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki were described as children of the earth and sky. Some researchers believe that the ancient Sumerians have an understanding of the universe, with artifacts showing depictions of the solar system, with planets orbiting around the sun. What makes things even stranger is the fact they are depicted with these strange ancient handbags and watches. Their list of inventions are mind-blowing. Not only did they create the wheel, they created the alphabet, the calendar we use today, irrigation systems for farming, time itself, the seconds, minutes and hours. Some say this knowledge was given to them. It does seem that the first civilization was also one of the most advanced ones, which doesn't exactly fit with modern-day explanations of our history.
There are 3 men that the world should be scared of. The world has seen 2 of these men, but the third is expected to be a combination of the last 2 without the same mistakes as them. If this doesn't scare you, nothing else will.
Nostradamus saw in his future 3 men that he called antichrists. One was Napoleon, the second one was Hitler, and the third one is the one that is to come, who is said to be the worst of all because he will learn from the mistakes of the others. A very dangerous person. He didn't like the term Antichrist. He said it was a Christian term and it was not exactly what he meant. But he said if you think of Christ as representing people, humanity, then Antichrist is someone who does terrible things against humanity, against people. And it can be the type of personality like Genghis Khan or Attila the Hun, the type that doesn't care anything about what it's doing, it only wants power. So this is what he meant by an Antichrist. But the third one, he gave us a great deal of information about him because he wanted us to do something to stop the man. He said, in the Bible, in the book of Revelation, and other books in the Old Testament, the people saw the same things that he saw. The prophets did. They only put them in their symbolism they could understand in their time, but they all saw the same thing. And that the man he refers to as the Antichrist is the number 666 in the book of Revelation, called the beast. Of course, he said 666 also refers to his connections with computers. So there's a lot more to it. But he has been predicted.
This isn't supposed to be funny, but there is something about how the video progresses that gets funnier.
Siapa itu? Hei! Duduk di kursi. Hei! Allahu Akbar! Ayo lu muncul lagi sini. Gua tabrak lu sini. Ayo, ayo sini. Allahu Akbar! Hei! Ayo muncul lagi gua. Allahu Akbar! Ini kursi ini. Astagfirullah. Kata gua penakut apa? Muhammadur Rasulullah. Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Allahumma shalli wa sallim ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali sayyidina Muhammad. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Bismik Allah, ya bismik Allah. Ya Allah, ya Rabbi. Ikut jumiran ya. Jelek sombong dikelilingi pemain Allah putih maaf.
One question would come to mind after watching this video. What or who was she fighting with? The Book of Jubilees. What do you know about Noah after the flood? Check this video out.
After the flood, when Noah steps off of his ark, he looks in the distance to find absolutely nothing. There's no animals because the very last living creatures are on his boat. And definitely no angels because they, along with their once great kingdoms, had finally fallen. But what happens to all these cities and statues built by the angels? I mean, they can't have just disappeared, right? Well, there is this one theory called the Tartarian mud flood. It's a legend of this ancient, lost civilization with access to technology thousands of years ahead of its time. And get this, one day, this empire just disappears. And it seems like they have been buried under this massive, muddy flood. You gotta understand that before the flood, these guys had 1,600 years to conquer the world. There were thriving civilizations everywhere.
And with the knowledge of the angels, these guys must have possessed ridiculous technology. So I recently found out about this 2,000-year-old book. It's called the Book of Jubilees. This book actually explains what Noah's life was like after the flood. And this just blows my mind. Because these guys, being the last men on earth, would go up to entire cities to just claim for themselves. They would literally go up to these ruins of these once great palaces to crown themselves king. They would ultimately build a whole new empire out of what was already there. See, after the flood, all the empires built by the angels were just renamed and repurposed. They truly were doomed to become nothing but a shadow of our past.
The gist is, if you are not paying attention, you would not see when it moves. You just wouldn't. There is something about paranormal activities occurring in places that we can't fully see. Phew, that was quite a lot.